FrostyFire10 here, and I've got a FrostyFire build. See? Working well, Pretty simple. You got your Hydras, beautiful Hydras, everyone loves Hydras. They're going to get nerfed to oblivion when the game actually fully releases, but, you know, why not, you know, give them a chance. This last little period, all with the open weekend. But my Hydras are a little different. If they can proc the damn thing. Come on. Do it. I'm begging you. Oh. You're joking me. They won't prig it. Oh, come on. Here we go. Do it. Do it now. I'm begging you. Just do it. I tell ya. They just don't want to do it. Come on. This is torture. Torture, I tell you. So I have changed my whole tree to focus on the Hydras. And every other skill is irrelevant. So I'm still trying to show you exactly... There it is! So as you can see... before I get obliterated... My Hydra can proc Frost Nova. Because Frost Nova is absolutely awesome. So let's... Hope and die. Okay, let me explain. Let's go to the tree. Over here. So with enchantments, each one of them has an enchantment. The Hydra one, you think, oh, it gives me a third Hydra with 5 heads. Surely that's a good idea. Then I'm spamming spells, using the mana. No, the best one, Frost Nova. So the enchantment effect is your conjuration skills have a 30% chance to unleash a Frost Nova when hitting enemies. So it syncs perfectly with Hydra, which hits enemies many, many times. And my Hydra is level 7, but that's not really... whatever. So the point is, it hits the enemy heaps of times. Hydra procs the Frost Nova. My Frost Nova is at level 3, because I got a couple boosts on it. And also, my Frost Nova... Can you guys... Yeah, or whatever. Okay, you triggered. It's amazing. As I get obliterated by some guy from the sky. That's great. My Frost Nova, do here at 3. We got the killing enemies frozen reduces the cooldown, which is great, and we have Frost Nova makes enemies vulnerable for 4 seconds, increasing to 8 seconds against bosses. So we have vulnerable stacking. We have lots of vulnerable, and the enemies, our Hydra doing cranking. Here we go, healthy. They gain extra head, and then we're doing burn damage. All right, and we got a couple little things here. We got inner flames. We got some devouring blaze. We're 3 out of 3 on crippling flames. So when enemies, also we have a chance to immobilize them. So we're mixing the two things. We've got vulnerable, which increases the damage taken, and we have immobilize, which stuns them basically. And then we've got on the bottom of the tree we have fiery surge. So we're killing burning enemy, increases your mana regeneration. Don't worry about that. We just have this one increase the burning damage dealt. Now these are optional. You don't need these last two, honestly. You can just focus on more just straight damage if you want. It's not a big deal. So we go back here down the tree. Alright, one of the tricky parts about this build is if you want to focus on something later on in the tree, you have to put skills as you go up, and they've got to be in something worthwhile. I've got Firebolt and Enchanted Firebolt because you have to have 2 points here, and then here you need another 5 points. So I've got defensive. I just went with warding. So after you cast a basic skill, you get resistance. I don't even worry about it, to be honest. I could move that. You can change that. It's not a big deal. You can get mana. And increased damage. Core skills. Now the problem is, again, so these are your core skills. I don't even use core skills. So all the stuff that's for basic skills, core skills, irrelevant. Now defensive skills, I do have a buff that has... one from the item, so that Frost Nova is getting 1 increase from that, but again, not a big deal. Conjuration is where it's at, and this is where I've got the positive addition to Conjuration, and I'll show you I'll go through the armor slowly, but I've just got 1 for Precision Magic. Lucky hit chance is nice, and that's after I've got all this to max. Because there's so much room once you do all those for just a couple points here and there. So 3 here, you could move the Immobilize to do more burning damage, crit damage, and just straight damage if you wanted to. So you have flexibility. You're just maxing out Hydra, getting upgrade and going for Hydra or doing burn. You can do critical strike after you do critical strike, but I'm not doing any critical strikes because I'm just standing there letting the Hydra kill everything. So it's kind of... And you can also run the Frost Nova just as a defensive, which is what I do. And offensive and defensive, because every time they're vulnerable, it's the other part of the build, this is the other magical bit, we have this. The chain of control. So we have you deal 50% more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. So my Frost Nova is freezing them. They're immobilized by being immobilized with the immobilized. See the chance of immobilize, and then we get extra damage. So we're proccing the Frost Nova with the Hydra hitting them. So the Hydra hits them, triggers the Frost Nova. They get frozen, then they do more damage. And then we hit them with mobilize as well if they're not frozen. So we're doing massive amounts of damage to enemies that are stuck and they can't do anything about it. I've also got +1 to rank Conjuration on the amulet, and then the rest of it's you can change. You don't have to worry about that. Also critical strike with core. This one's irrelevant for the most part. Damage over time. Vulnerable damage is good. It's good to have vulnerable damage. Again, we're doing vulnerable, and then just some basic resistance stuff. Nothing too special there. The one additional Hydra, you can get that on numerous different pieces of armor or rings, so, or weapon. It's an easy one. You'll find this one. All the legendaries you farm over these weekends, you're going to find +1 to Hydra. It's just a matter of time. Now the only thing that's going to be different is how much the duration is reduced by. So on this one it's 22%, and you can get, I think it's high as 25 or 30%. It's a bit ridiculous, and that's not good. I have a better one here at 15%, which I could take off and put on, but I'm just not going to do that because there's no point. It's just a bit, that'd be min-maxing completely, but at the same time, I cast so many Hydra, I know how long it lasts, 9 seconds, down 22%, it's, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. So I've just got some other stuff there. So, we've got some good basic stuff. You can do lots of variations here. The only things that matter are the +1 to Hydra and getting more damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen enemies. And that's where this Fire Frost build works primarily. Everything else here, you can choose what you like. You can use a staff if you want. I do recommend the 2 weapons. I mean, the weapon and the book, just because I think it's better because you get more pluses to stats and things overall. That said, if you find the awesome staff, stick with the awesome staff. Now, the other point I've got is explosions from the Shatter. Key passive, deal 30% increased damage if enemies die while frozen. So what does this do? It means the frozen enemies, when they're killed by the Hydra, they explode and shatter. And now the Shatter does 30% increased damage to the enemies around them. So we get a whole pack. They're getting hit by the Hydra, proccing the Frost Nova, they're frozen, then one of them dies, they explode and shatter, even more damage. And then I've got +12 all stats. I could upgrade the item level higher, it doesn't really matter, it's not a big deal. Core skill damage is irrelevant, I could swap that out. Damage to distant enemies, yes, the Hydras and stuff's far away. Again, the weapons individual stats aren't that big a deal, but the critical strike damage to vulnerable enemies I added is nice. Again, the most important thing is really the legendary affixes. Everything else, and you can move them around. So again, flexibility. I got to chuck one on here on the boots, but I'm not too worried. I've just got 1 rank Frost Nova, 1 max evade charge. I find quality of life having 2 evade charges is just really, really nice. Always makes me feel good that you can dodge away. And then some of the rest of the stuff we got here is defense. We just got some basic stuff on the pants. 7 all stats, 18 intelligence, I think is pretty good, plus the max life. So I haven't got a legendary in here because I'm really waiting for the perfect +1 to Hydra, but I can't find +1 to Hydra on boots or on pants or gloves, which is kind of annoying. So I'm sure it's there though, because I've got Frozen Orb here. So I've got Frozen Orb on my bar, but I don't really use it very often. It's just that extra thing to have if you feel like actually being a bit more active in the combat. So on the gloves we've got increased damage for standing still, which I actually don't like standing still, so it's one of those ones where situationally it's a positive, just something that, see, as I move around and then I stop and then it starts to build up in the corner eventually. Come on. Oh, it's not even built. There we go. It's doing it. See, look, there, inner calm. And then it just builds up. But again, you can move around. I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's just one of the things you can do. 8 all stats, 14 intelligence. Again, the intelligence. So my stats aren't, I wouldn't say they're fantastic. I think they're okay. So we just get armor from strength, skill damage from intelligence. So again, you want to get a lot of intelligence, and you're healing and stuff like that with willpower, and overpower as well, resource generation. So we don't worry about mana. Crit strike chance is garbage. It's a pity. So we're not worried about mana because again we don't use much. So we get over here, freeze him, lag the game out because every time you do dash it lags the game.
I'm not ready yet.
And then freeze him. Stand around. Oops, just dodge that. Oh, yeah. Death effect. So really, you're spawning Hydras to attack enemies you can't see on your screen. I don't know why that just flies across the screen. Slay the bandits. Okay. Alright. And at the chest, you have some options here. I do have another chest down the bottom I'm considering, but I've got taking direct damage has 8% chance, or 9% chance to reset the cooldown on one of your defensive skills, which is the Frost Nova. So I can use the Frost Nova again. I got barrier generation. I got thorns, some rares, some plus fire damage, which you're going to need a lot of fire damage in this build because. So if you can get fire damage, I recommend you get it on there. But otherwise, you've maxed your Hydra skill, and you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff in the skill tree working hard for you. So it's not a huge deal. And then here on the helmet, you can get plus rank to Hydra, so it's much more common. And I don't know if it just doesn't roll on the pants or the boots. So I've got the protective Archon helm, 18 fire res, some total armor, and then, well, this is just imprinted, so just a rare. So, well, not healthy, magic bubble. So it's just a protection bubble when you're on low health, which you need that in the world boss fight. I found that I died a lot in the world boss fight. This is all stuff I got after it because I was like, wait a second, I need some more defensive. I have chucked some gems on some of these, but not all of them. Just a couple here and there. Just the resistance stuff. And some more resistance there. So just added resistances, which are, you can, again, optional, just don't get hit. Same old story. And what else is there to talk about? My armor's okay, life's pretty average. You want a lot more life. One of the things you can do is stack life later on. Every Diablo expert will tell you, lots of life. Just have lots and lots and lots of life, Oh.
I need time to do that.
Okay, it's that guy there. Let's go kill the boss. Now, the specialty of the Hydras is definitely killing bosses. For crowds, sometimes they can hit certain enemies and they don't hit the inner part, which is again why we have the Frost Nova proccing. That sort of balances out their individual targeting at times. But against the boss, they're sensational. Each of the bosses in this game. All of them. You just, yeah, pretty much. Stop shooting After Effects.
Gregor, need a word with
Yeah,
you.
pretty much. I think, oh, let me just summon those. And you get great range. They're great versatility with the Hydra. I can chuck a frozen orb if I need to, but the range is tremendous, really. That's one of the things that's so great about the Hydra. And you don't have to actually do anything.
The wargs like you, my friend, but they like fresh meat.
Yeah, stop that. I'm busy. Yeah, so that's pretty much the build. Fire Frost build for a Fire Frost Sorceress. See? And then I'm FrostyFire10. It's all coming together. And also keeping your health up at healthy so that all your fire damage is higher and you get the 4th head of the Hydra. That's just the basic of most of basic. So let's... The lag, man. It's so nice seeing the Frost Nova proc when the Hydras hit him. We're pulling levers, are we? Okay, lever? Pull the lever, Kronk! Okay. And we're going to just keep going. End the video there. I will end it here. Okay. This has been FrostyFire10. Yeah, like and subscribe. I might just mute the mic and then just do a bit more playing through and just show you the build in action a bit more. But yeah, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you around. For the next open thing, once this one's finished, and we're all like, oh my goodness, we actually like the game more than we thought we did, or after we can't play it for a day or two. Rather than, oh, I've already played through it, I'm to 25, oh, that's not a big deal. Alright, see you next time. Keep watching for more gameplay. It's going to keep going for another 5 minutes. Alright, bye.
I need time to prepare.
Holy crap! That's a good effect. After Immobilize wears off, enemies are slowed by 32% for 4 seconds. Alright, I'll add that to the build. This last little addition. Damn. Okay, so that works well. That'll work well. Alright. Thorns, that's pretty nice. Alright, bye bye.